Welcome back for another video. For the next video in the pre-season series, it's basically the whole of pre-season in one short and sweet video. So every single result, all the form players, tactical notes, and literally anything else that's of relevance to FPL. This one does take by far the most hours to research and write of any video that I make all season, so if you do appreciate the effort behind this one in particular, then hit like and make sure you are subscribed. It's completely free. There's going to be one final update very near Game Week 1 which you don't want to miss either, but let's get you up to speed first. Don't forget to take advantage of Scout's 47% pre-season discount with the link below. In addition to all the information here, they also track every single player's pre-season minutes, there's match reports and loads more on top of all the other members' goodies. Click the link at the top of the description to get on top of it all as the Game Week 1 deadline nears. Arsenal up first then, who have played 3 times in total, wins over Milan and Newcastle and a loss to Tottenham for the North London derby. There's no standout players in form this season for Arsenal really, like Havertz has got a goal and assist, Saka's got a goal, Ødegaard scored a penalty but Saka wasn't on the pitch, and of course there is that speculation that maybe Jonas will assume the pen duties given his really good record. It is worth debating whether Jonas actually starts in Game Week 1 as well. Like Arteta might want to start with Havertz and bring Jonas on second half against Man United perhaps. It's high risk, high reward though given that 9 mil price tag, but the upside's there. Gabriel hasn't featured in any pre-season games, he's been nursing an injury. Calafiori and Kivia have taken turns at left centre back. So go for Saliba or Raya or just avoid the Arsenal defence entirely. I'd like to see Gabriel involved in the final 2 games against Villarreal and Athletic to be comfortable picking him in my Game Week 1 team. For now he's left my draft. And of course if Gabriel is out, do you still go for Saliba or Raya, given that you'd expect him to be weaker defensively, plus there are some mixed fixtures anyway. Villa have given us a lot to discuss and think about in their pre-season. 5 games played, and it's Marlon, Watkins and Rodgers in particular that have impressed. A goal and 3 assists for Marlon, who comes in only 5.5 mil. He's played up top even, though of course that spot belongs to Watkins ordinarily. Villa fans are predicting Marlon to be right mid for Game Week 1. Is he worth it for 5.5 mil though? It's really cheap. I think this one's very much opinion based because there is that price difference to Rodgers, but my favourite is still Rodgers and Watkins, and go for those as a double up if you want to go for Villa. They both get excellent minutes and they're both nailed. Marlon could share minutes with Ramsey or maybe someone else in the team. He's less likely to get 90 basically. I was chatting to Adam Hopcroft, who's one of the best all-time FPL managers. Lots of the ranking leaderboards have got him placed number 3 all-time, and he is a Villa fan. And he also shares the same sentiment. He said Rodgers and Watkins are the ones from an offensive perspective. Defensively, Conte is your best bet, but he's probably going to give you 2 or 6 pointers most of the time. He's not that great for defensive contribution points. Bournemouth have given us a lot to chew on as well. They've played 4 games, 3 wins and a loss. The loss came against Man United. Evan Nilsson's got a goal and an assist. A really under the radar pick at 2.4% ownership. If he stays injury free, I'd predict him to get something like 170 points this season. You just have to look past that Game Week 1 fixture, of course, Liverpool, which has put many off. And just keep in mind, last season as well, he was settling into the league after that move from the Portuguese league, and he was injured for a while as well. He still managed a goal involvement about every other game on average despite that. Kluivert's not been involved in pre-season, missing a few games, amid some rumours of a possible transfer. Trafford, the Kirkes replacement, scored twice in their 6-2 win over Bristol City. He's even more differential, he's about 1.5% owned. He was named Rennes captain last year and he made over 200 appearances for them, and he's only 23. Christie racked up really good defensive contributions tallies last season, and he's been a popular pick for 5 mil given that. However, he hasn't played in pre-season at all yet, so keep an eye on that. 4.5 mil midfielder Traore has been playing, and he's also one to watch, he has impressed. What's going on at Brentford then? Mbeumo and Norgard gone, Wissa reportedly wants out, so how are they getting on? Well, they've only played 2 games, a draw and a win, and only 1 goal scored in each game. Thiago led the line and he did score one of those 2 goals, and Collins got the other one, which was a Damsgaard assist. Frank replacement Andrews has been using a 4-2-3-1, which has seen Lewis Potter actually playing out of position left wing at times. He was reclassified to a defender, if you recall, in FPL this year, because he was being used in left back last season, but his natural position is out on the wing. The only thing is his minutes aren't a certainty. Otherwise, imagine if he became nailed, what steal he'd be for 5 mil out of position. Of course, if Wissa does leave this transfer window, then Thiago shoots right up my forward rankings. He's only 6 mil. That's the same price Wissa was last season before he went on to get 185 points. I mean, even 150 points would be incredible for 6 million by game week 38. He did miss the majority of last season with an injury, but the big man is back, and I'm sure he's desperate to hit the ground running after such a long wait to get his moment. Brighton have been the busiest team with 6 games played already. Some of those, of course, rotated A and B teams. They've got one final game against Wolfsburg to go. Låbakk scored 4 times, though all 4 actually came against Wycombe Wanderers. Minte is the other informed player of note, really. He's got 2 goals and an assist playing in right wing. He's only 6 mil. He does have Rutter for competition, but we might see Jorginho used as a striker more given Welbeck's age and injury record. He has played up top in pre-season a bit, but he's quite a versatile player. New signing De Cooper has been playing a left back. In the build-up, interestingly, he's not been the one pushing forward as we hoped. It's basically been him moving centrally to form a back 3. Now yeah, Husler could just be trying different things out, so I wouldn't say that's set in stone. Verbruggen's been dealing with a knee injury, but he is back in training. The only players I think I would consider right now are De Cooper, given at the end of the day he is 4.5 mil still. Verbruggen's solid and Minte. I've actually left Welbeck out of that list because right now I like Strand Larsen more than Welbeck. He's younger, better injury record, and I think longer term slightly better fixtures and certainly less competition for the striker spot. Not much to report from Burnley. Estevez signed a new contract and he's been, for a lot of teams, the go-to 4 mil defender. 5 million midfielder Edwards has got 3 goals, but it is worth noting in the Championship alone, he only managed 1 goal, 1 assist in 14 games for them last season, and he'll rarely get 90 when he does start. We'll skip over Chelsea as well because they're yet to play in pre-season. They're getting a much needed break after the Club World Cup. They're going to be playing against Bayer Leverkusen and AC Milan before game week 1. Crystal Palace are absolutely flying in pre-season. 6 games played, but like Brighton, some of those are A and B team splits. Mateta's got 4 goals and an assist to his name. Eze's got 2 goals, 2 assists. Sar's got a couple of assists. Even Munoz and Lacroix have scored. So there's lots to think about here. I mean, Munoz in FPL, he's like having an extra midfielder on your FPL team because he does play like a winger. And when you look at it that way, like he got 21 returns last season when you count goal involvements and clean sheets. So yeah, like if you're on a 3-4-3, it's basically like a 2-5-3. The all-out attack chip is back. Lacroix is 0.5 mil cheaper than Munoz, and he did really well for defensive contributions last season. A big question mark overshadowing Palace is, will Eze stay or leave? There could be some insane value in the Palace picks if they can hold on to him for another year. In all positions, to be honest with you. Like up top, you've got Mateta, you've got Eze and Sar midfield, you've got Munoz, Lacroix, Guehi, Riches in defence. If any of you have got Palace assets from the get-go, which ones have you gone for? The annoying situation with Palace is they've got Chelsea, Forest and Villa, so a lot of us are going to have 2, maybe even 3 defences invested in there, so it's a lot of attackers versus defenders if you go for Palace attackers. Nothing of note from Everton, to be honest with you. 1 clean sheet, which came against Blackburn. Tarkowski joined up late. He missed the first few games. He did play in that Man United game and gave away the penalty won by Ahmad. Contentious one if you're an Everton fan. Man United fans say he did foul Ahmad. McNeil's actually got the most minutes. He's played 94% of all available minutes. Could he be back as an under-the-radar option for 6 mil? If he was 5.5 mil, I think that would have been more tempting, but 6 mil feels a bit too steep for McNeil. Fulham have provided some food for thought. No one's got more goal involvements than Wilson in the league in pre-season. He's got 5 goals and an assist. He's a weird one, Wilson. Like, he does great when he's playing, but he rarely seems to string a lot of games together. He is only 5.5 mil, the fixtures aren't bad, and the form is certainly there. Now, he does have competition from Traore and Sessegnon as well, so I'd be very surprised if he gets 90 minutes off them. 4.5 mil midfielder Kings, incredibly highly rated by Fulham fans, and he's scored twice in pre-season. Could he be the best 4.5 mil mid in the game right now? I don't expect him to get that many starts, to be honest with you, but if I was picking a 4.5 mil mid, it'd be King. The other thing to weigh up is the striker situation. So Jimenez is 34 now, so we might see 5.5 mil Muniz getting a bunch more games this season. He's only about, I think, 24 or maybe 26, but obviously significantly younger. Initially, the minutes could be shared between the two, but the other thing to mention is Raul did join up late, having played in the Gold Cup for Mexico. He scored in the 3-2 training session against Sheffield United. There is one other 5.5 mil forward that's heavily in the discussion, Pirot. 16 goals and 46 league appearances last season, and he's got 4 goals this pre-season. They have signed Mecha this window, however, so there is again competition there. BL is a great option for 4 mil. He's signed from Udinese this season for Leeds. There is also Gudmundsson, Rodon. BL is suspended for Game Week 1, which has basically kept his ownership really low, but he's a nice pick because you don't want to start him Game Week 1 regardless, right? And he'll be back in the team Game Week 2 onwards. So, is Florian Wirtz the next big FPL superstar? He's got a goal and 2 assists in pre-season, not bad. He even played as a false 9 earlier on, but that was due to no forwards in the squad really. Ekitike joined up a bit later. He's expected to be the number 10 behind Ekitike, or whoever it is up top during the season. Maybe it'll be Isak. Nunes has actually got the most goal involvements of them all, but he's obviously in a void. There's rumours he could be leaving. He's not going to be a nailed starter even if he does stay. I mean, Gakpo could be a hidden gem. Luis Diaz is left. Left wing looks like it could be his spot, but it's not totally locked in. He's only 7.5 mil, and of course he's been reclassified to midfielder, so an extra point per goal, 1 point per clean sheet. Last season's 23 appearances was Gakpo's most in his 3 years at Liverpool. Just 1,921 minutes. You'd fancy this season to be his most starts by a mile, but he is still risky. Of course, if that Isak transfer materialises, then that could complicate matters. Isak's actually a really capable left winger. Those that played FPL a few years ago remember when Wilson and Isak were both starting, given they were both banging form for Newcastle, and that had Wilson as the number 9, and Isak was playing down the left. It's also very probable that Gakpo and Isak could start together if that transfer happens, with new signing Ekitike probably the unfortunate one to miss out most. So is Wirtz worth it for 8.5 mil? Rob T produced a great graphic here which has got the season-long FPL projections using the spread markets odds. And that's got him on 178 points, which would definitely justify 8.5 mil. Bournemouth home Game Week 1, great fixture as well, given their departures at the back. Gakpo's actually gotten the joint most minutes of the mids or forwards so far for Liverpool, same as Salah and Szoboszlai. A quiet pre-season overall from Salah so far, but don't let that put you off picking him. So we'll skip over Man City as well, who are also having a short pre-season due to the Club World Cup as well. Don't forget to subscribe, there will be a final update to come before Game Week 1 which will cover all the final games to be played. So, Man United then, they're actually undefeated in pre-season. It's 2 wins, 2 draws for them. Most recently a draw against Everton to end the summer series where I'd say Bruno was the standout there. It was the first game that Bruno, Cunha and Mbeumo all started together. Initial thoughts are the 3 of them could take some time to settle in together. Cunha was kind of occupying some of the same spaces that Bruno wanted to be in. Amrim tried both Bruno and Cunha up top during the game. However, yeah, both quite blatantly massive upgrades on previous players that Man United have had in those areas. I'm swerving Cunha and Mbeumo personally for the foreseeable future until they're clearly still great picks. 3 goals, 1 assist for Bruno in pre-season, 2 of those were penalties. I mean, it's undeniable that he's going to have a very good FPL season again. Like, he would have finished just shy of 200 points last season with the rule changes in place, and I can see him doing similarly, if not better, which would make him incredible for 9 mil from Game Week 1, even with Arsenal first. It's worth noting that 4.5 mil Dorgu had a brilliant game against Bournemouth in particular. He came away with a goal, assist, and then he was subbed off before the clean sheet was wiped as well. Newcastle's only win came at the start of pre-season against Carlisle. It's fair to say the Isak situation's been overshadowing things a bit. Will he leave? And if he does leave, who's coming in to replace him? Howell's had to make do really with Asula and Gordon getting minutes up top. All the wingers have chipped in with returns from Newcastle, which is ultimately the problem with the Newcastle attackers this season. It's great depth, they're going to need it, but they're all really good players and you can't really predict who's going to be getting reliable starts, if any. It's Barnes versus Gordon left wing, Murphy versus Elanga right wing. Avoiding them all looks sensible for now, I'd say. Ironically, Tonali could end up being a solid choice for 5.5 or maybe better than the wingers. He would have finished on 124 points last season with 28 starts and 18 DC points, but it could push 150 plus with the additional starts we'll get this season. Quite encouragingly, for those of us that invested in their defence, Forest have been keeping plenty of clean sheets in pre-season, 3 so far from 5 games played, though they haven't scored many goals either, just 1 goal in those 5 games in fact, which was Wood. Williams got the assist for that. It was a nice ball whipped in, which was met by Woods with a header. The debate has raged on over the season. Do you go in Murillo or Milenkovic for 5.5 mil? Or do you save 0.5 million and go for Williams? Aina, I guess, is a great option as well, but he didn't fare as well for defensive contributions or in fact underlying attacking data last season, so Williams has emerged as the more popular 5 mil alternative. Let us know which way you're leaning if you're going with either. Sunderland have been really busy in the transfer market and in pre-season in terms of games. 6 matches clocked with 2 to go. There's really no form players of note though. Lefay's got a goal and an assist. He might be on penalties for Sunderland, he's only 5 mil. Adingra is someone I'm quite tempted by for 5.5 mil. He's been getting loads of pre-season minutes as you'd expect, but just the 1 goal for him. The choice is, do you punt on a winger like a Adingra or a Rice for 5.5 mil, or do you go for a steady and I guess more boring defensive contribution points pick, with a lower ceiling like Anderson, Caicedo, Christie, but I guess a higher floor you could say. Reportedly a minor setback to Mark Gu's loan deal, so that's not official yet either. So the 4.5 mil forward's not joined with the squad yet. 5.5 mil forward Mayenda's got the most minutes of the Sunderland attackers, and he's expected to be the one leading the line from game week 1. Spurs most recently drew 1-1 with Newcastle, which is also Son's farewell game, so we can't read into that lineup too much, which of course did have Son starting at left wing one last time. Actually a devastating game for Spurs sadly, because Maddison was stretched off with potentially a serious injury. So yeah, in his absence, who's going to play as a 10? I guess it could be Bergvall, maybe even Sarr, who's kind of been more of a box-to-box mid for Spurs, but he's having a great pre-season. He scored twice, including that goal against Arsenal from about 40 yards out, lobbing Raya. Solanke hasn't been in any match-stage squads, and every passing day does become more of a concern to pick in my team. Like, is he definitely going to start in game week 1? And if he does, is he definitely going to get enough minutes? So yeah, for now, Solanke's left my team. Udogi's also been out injured, so swerve him in your team for now. Van de Ven, Romero, Porro, all 3 great options. 3 different price points as well, and all with their individual appeals. Just 1 assist for Kudus so far, but he has been getting lots of minutes in right wing. Just a couple more teams and then we'll have a look at who's got the most goal involvements across all teams. Unsurprisingly, Bowen is still the main man at West Ham. He's got 2 goals, 2 assists to his name, and 1 final game against Lille to be played. He was involved in both goals in that 2-0 win over Bournemouth most recently. Obviously that reclassification to forward's been a shame, however he absolutely can still be a good choice for 8 million even as a striker in FPL, especially given it's Sunderland on the opening day. Fulkrug has been back in the 11 playing up top. He's got 2 goals in 2 games. He's only 6 mil, but I would say avoid him. His minutes were terrible last season, even when he was starting games, and Wilson's just joined on a free transfer as well. Paqueta could be an underrated pick for 6 mil, on penalties as well. And he's been cleared of those spot fixing charges that were looming over him. 2 goals, 1 assist for him in pre-season. I had the Bournemouth game on and Juve seriously impressed me. He's the new left wing back signing, or left back. Both goals actually came from him, so think Trent style whipped crosses but from the left side. The first goal he whipped it into Bowen, he basically sliced his volley, otherwise it could have been a Juve assist. And since he sliced the volley, he ended up playing it back to Fulkrug, who then scored, so it was a Bowen assist. And the second one was Juve again, which Bowen did catch on the volley this time, and he slotted it bottom left. Juve and Wan-Bissaka both 4.5 mil. The way I can see it playing out most likely is Wan-Bissaka will get you more DC points, Juve less so, but he'll get more attacking returns, but they could score similarly over the season. Wan-Bissaka is literally the most owned defender in the game at 32%, so 1 in every 3 teams own Wan-Bissaka right now. So you could go for Juve basically to protect yourself from price falls. If West Ham concede to Sunderland and then the fixtures don't look as good after that, and some other 4.5 mil defender smashes it, you can see the mass sales happening, can't you? Alright, quickly Wolves then, and then we'll have a look at which players are the most in form overall. There's not too much to write home about, in honesty. Strand Larsen's got 1 goal to his name. Hoover has caught the attention of some people because he's only 4 mil in FPL, but he's not going to be nailed. You're better off with someone a bit more reliable for 4 mil, like Biel, Gudmundsson, Esteve, etc. Agbadou, I'd say, is my favourite of the Wolves defenders. He's probably going to do best over the season for defensive contributions. It is a new look Wolves attack, they're still taking time to click. I think Strand Larsen's going to be the main man up top every game, so he'd be my favourite 6.5 mil forward right now. He should get consistent 80 to 90 minutes, so he's great for 6.5 mil. So lastly, a quick look at which players are the most in form with the overall numbers. This is a slightly filtered list. I've left a select few players out like Darwin, Wesley, etc. So it's Mateta and Wilson leading the pack, 6 goal involvements each. Palace are a bit of a strange one, aren't they? They always seem to start the season quite slowly and then they really find serious form in the second half of the season. But could we be seeing something different from them now? They're going to need to start well because, of course, they are juggling European football, and that's going to come with its challenges itself. Wilson could be amazing value for 5.5 mil if he keeps starting, but he does have competition, so I'm personally not tempted. Marlon's in the same boat, potential 5.5 mil gem if they get the minutes, but they do carry some risk. I'd say Marlon's less risky than Wilson, but both are unlikely to be getting 90. Bruno and Bowen are the top picks really for obvious reasons, and they're playing really well right now. Wirtz, of course, offers a 0.5 mil save, an alternative option to Bruno really if you're really tight for money, but I'm expecting Bruno to beat him for points overall. I'm going to do one final pre-season form players update before the season kicks off, so make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss it. See you soon for the next one.